What is going on, everybody? It is me, your old pal, the original gamer, StevieStrow, and we are back for yet another exciting video game showcase for the Radio Shack TRS-80 color computer, also known as the Coco. And what game am I showing you today, boys and girls? Well, I'm showing you Zaxxon from 1983 by one of my favorite game programmers, Steve Bjork, and this is one of a handful of officially licensed titles that was available to the color computer. Most of our arcade games were clones that were basically derived or inspired from the original arcade games, but they were made by third-party companies that then changed the name to protect the guilty and release a game that we knew what it was, but we called it something else. This was the real deal, folks. This was the real Zaxxon, licensed from Sega, released on the color computer, programmed by Steve Bjork, and let's go ahead and play it. So the cool thing about Zaxxon was that it was kind of three-dimensional. It was three-dimensional in not only how it scrolled through the screen at like kind of an angle, but also the fact that you had different height elevations and you could see your shadow in your ship. So most of the shooters up to this point in time were strictly two-dimensional, and everything kind of scrolled perfectly horizontally or vertically. So this one kind of put things on its edge and did it on an angle and added the whole thing of increasing your elevation. You can see on the left here my high and low elevation. I've now just left an island. You kind of float between these different space islands, and then you have to kind of travel through free space in between islands. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Steve, and I'm really sorry about this, but I need to interrupt this already scheduled recording that you're watching right now for just a minute, because it just occurred to me that I completely forgot something when I was recording this video and doing my commentary. So the cool thing about Zaxxon is that not only is it a very cool game by itself, that it's officially licensed from Sega, which there are so few of these, but even more cool about this is that Zaxxon actually appeared in a major motion picture, which happened to be Friday the 13th Part 4, I believe. Now there's a person on YouTube whose name is Coco Tower, who created a clip called Coco in the Movies. It's got a little compilation of a lot of different places where you will see the color computer on TV and film. And so I'm going to borrow a little snippet from his video, but I will also leave a link to his channel in the description. And I'm going to show you a quick clip of Zaxxon as it appeared in Friday the 13th Part 4, as played by Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman, huge star from the 80s, was also in the Goonies and all kinds of stuff. And so, and another interesting note about this clip is that the colors are reversed. And so for those of us who own Cocos, we are very familiar with the fact that these red and blue artifact colors that were basically bonus colors that didn't really exist, but the TV made them look like they were there. Those red and blue colors, they were kind of iffy what they were. Sometimes they were red, sometimes they were blue. You had to keep mashing the reset button on the back of your Coco until you got red to be red, or the, whatever the case might be. So in the Friday the 13th movie, the colors are wrong. So the ground is red where it's supposed to be blue, which means that either the people did not know what the real game looked like and it was just in there for effect, or they didn't know about hitting the reset button. But as an interesting trivial anecdote, that the Zaxxon we will see in this clip, the colors are backwards. So enjoy the clip, and then we will resume our regularly scheduled video. Every other island had a boss. So I just left one island. I'm now flying through free space. There is a wave of enemy fighters you need to try to take out. I think if you take them all out, you'll get a bonus. And you can kind of see they kind of fly in formations, and they will kind of, trying to zoom in on you. You can tell when you're lighting up with them because you'll see a crosshair light up on the nose of your ship. And so far I've got them all but one. If I can get one more plane, I am the Mac Daddy, but I missed it. Okay, so I've got to get up higher. Get me up here, Jane. Okay, on the second level, they really utilized the force fields a lot more. And you had to kind of shoot your laser through the hole to see if you're at the right elevation to clear the force field. You also had fuel, and because this was released by Sega, it kind of carried that over from a game they had that was called Scramble. Scramble was a 2D side-scrolling space shooter, and you had to like bomb fuel tanks. In this one here, you still have to shoot fuel canisters. I hope I make it through here. I am the right height. And so yeah, there are like these little tank missile gun thingies that shoot at you. There are missiles that launch from the ground. Okay, this one's just a low limbo thing I have to go under. And eventually you'll reach the end of this thing, and there's going to be a boss that you have to fight. And I think he was kind of like this robot thing that had a couple of missiles that he shot out of his belly. Oh my god, that was so close. I didn't think I was going to make that. Okay, so the screen has stopped moving. This is the boss. So the boss has now got this missile. I've shot the missile. I don't know if I technically killed the boss or not, though. You get a 200-point bonus. I think if you were able to blow up the missile while it was still attached to him, you got more of a bonus. But at least I didn't die. And so now I'm going to another island, right? You always start each island and end each island by having to kind of go over or around a brick wall. That kind of indicates that you're on a new island. In the arcade, the edges of the island also kind of look like jagged stone, which was kind of cool. What I will say about this game is it's very, very faithful to the gameplay of the arcade. Really good use of graphics and sound. Obviously using the 4-color mode, so we got about as many colors as we're going to get here. They didn't do any type of dithering or I forgot the term for that when you do the checkerboards to create the illusion of more colors. We didn't create any additional simulated colors, but I think the 4 colors serve this game well.
C'est le coq champignon, des micros et dans le pion. Pour le jeu, il est pas batable, les études, c'est pas bizarre. L'expansion est là dans ça, les commandes, tu vas voir ça. Notre coco est programmable, pour tes cours, c'est bien serviable. Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac.
Un ordinateur couleur qui a de la personnalité. Le Coco 2 de Radio Shack. On solde pour Noël à partir de 149,95.
Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac, c'est toi et Coco 2.
Because in the arcade, the base of those island platform things were kind of blue-gray, maybe a teal color. So I think the blue serves that. And yeah, just a cool game, fun game. One of the things I remember about this game when I got it, and another interesting side note here is that this game was actually released on a cassette tape in '83, which was unusual because this was a later model Coco game, and at this point everything was on disc. But the fact it was released on cassette was really interesting because cassette was like an early thing. Like a lot of our Tex adventures were on cassette. A handful of games by smaller studios may have been on cassette, but the fact that this coming from Sega and being officially licensed to Tandy and all that kind of stuff on a cassette was just kind of odd to me. But we had this program that was called Disc to Tape, and you could load cassette programs into a different area of memory and then save them on disc and run them from disc. And I had this game, and one of the things I remember doing as a kid is that when I was learning how to do the peeks and pokes, I figured out where all the text was, where it said Steve Bjork and all the names, and I just like kind of changed it. I think I put like Steve is cool or Cool Steve or something like that, so I made it look like I made the game, and then just resaved it to disc. So I remember doing that to one version of this, just messing around as I was learning how to read RAM on my Coco and stuff. But this was a cool game. The way it used very authentic arcade sounds, very Atari-esque sounds, and how those sounds were simulated to sound in the background. Like you heard the explosions and you heard the sound while the particles were flying off the screen. Just really good use of audio-visual techniques, as Steve Bjork was famous for, and a fun, cool game. So I hope you enjoyed this preview of Zaxxon, the official Zaxxon by Sega, one of only a handful of games that was officially licensed to run on the Coco 1 and 2 anyways. I believe there were a lot more on the Coco 3 because it was a more robust machine, but during the Coco 1 and 2 days there were very few officially licensed games, and this was one of them. This was a darn good one. So I hope you enjoyed this preview of Zaxxon. I have been the original gamer, StevieStrow, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, give it a big fat thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel or if you have not previously subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button? That way I know how many people like me are crazy enough to want to watch these old videos. If you've got something you'd like to say, throw out a comment. Tell me what you thought about this video. Tell me what you'd like to see next. Tell me what your favorite color is. Tell me what your dog's name is, for all I care. And I would also appreciate it if you could share this video and share my channel with your friends. Help me grow my audience. That would be awesome. I've been the original gamer, StevieStrow. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, and peace out, everybody.